Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the ultimate red zone and we are going to be taking on Broly, and this is the final ultimate red zone challenge or fight, I guess, in terms of what we currently have. And yeah, basically Broly is considered to be the hardest boss, and there's a couple reasons why, but we'll go into it obviously as we go along through the fight. So before we talk about team build, let's talk about this phase of Broly. So Broly consists of 4 phases: a strength phase, attack phase, a third or second strength phase, but the third phase is strength, and fourth, which is AGL. Now Broly is immune to stunning and sealing from the second phase onwards, so you end up having a pretty good time against this first phase. If you do stun him or seal him, you can control that damage a little bit, but all the phases of Broly disable evasion, so that's obviously a very big mechanic. You do have to kind of, I want to say, control to a certain extent, so you do need to control Broly in that sense. And not that you can obviously control him because you can't seal him or stun him, but you need to build around the fact that you're not going to be able to evade. That's like very imperative. So yes, it is a little bit unfortunate that obviously Broly disables a very key mechanic for a lot of units, but it's just an excuse to kind of work around things and yeah, do the best you can. Now there is a very strong set team that has a very good time against Broly, and by very good time I mean can reliably beat him, and it's generally a team that's headed up by the LR God Boys. So they're going to be our friend lead. Obviously I never got the LR God Boys, so it's going to be a bit of a friend lead for me. But yeah, generally speaking, the LR God units are honestly probably the best unit for taking out Broly. It's not so much that they defensively sound, because obviously, well, they are defensively sound, but yeah, it's not so much that they are a defensive juggernaut, it's that they're an offensive juggernaut against the last phase. They can almost completely remove half of Broly's health in a one turn alone on their own with a little bit of favorable RNG rolls, and that's very crucial, because after you escape the strength phase, very often you're not going to have a lot of items, if you're lucky to have items at all, and so it's imperative that you can take out Broly as quickly as possible. Obviously their evasion is disabled, but generally speaking they are so strong offensively, especially once you transform them with the active skill, that they can do some huge damage. So your priority is to just get to the AGL phase. That's the first step of the Broly fight. I know it sounds incredibly simple, but even if you use all your items, getting to the AGL phase is crucial, especially if you are running the God Boys. So think of it that way. It's definitely something that's obviously super important. In terms of the God Boys themselves, not going to recap all their details, but yeah, they're the Power Beyond Super Saiyan lead, which is super duper helpful. They massively raise attack and defense once transformed. They do huge damage. They're just very solid units. Then alongside them, how we've built the team. So I have int Vegeta, int SSBE Vegeta. Remember that unit that everyone says sucks? Well, he does suck. He sucks ass. Sucks ass like a machine. No, he's very solid. Obviously he takes some damage. That's not something that's quite avoidable. He's going to take quite a significant chunk of damage, especially if he gets supered without getting hit a couple times. What suits Vegeta in a sense is that you can use him during the tech phase to really build up your stacks. So generally speaking, during the tech phase you can use him to take a couple hits from Broly, and you can use this time period to build up his stacks to activate his revive. And that's where Vegeta comes in handy, because especially on turns where you're facing the strength Broly, the ability to revive, where strength Broly can kind of fire any kind of AoE, Vegeta could give you an extra turn. So for example, if I start a turn and I am facing the Strength Broly and Vegeta is on rotation and my Revive is active, I don't need to worry about the AoE super attack. Generally speaking, even if I die, I will be coming back. So that's kind of where Vegeta really comes in handy. Beyond that, he does decent damage as well. Obviously, crits are a very favorable mechanic to do damage to Broly. So yeah, he does some pretty good damage, and that's where he comes in very reliable. It's very important to keep him off rotation, switch him in for the tech phase, and then switch him back out, and you should be fine. Then we have the Super Saiyan God Goku. So this is obviously one of the best units for the movie bosses, Red Zone. His 77% reduction to damage from movie bosses enemies kind of speaks for itself. He's going to be taking no damage throughout the whole fight at any given point, pretty much. He's like never going to take damage. Obviously he's great, but he can't solo carry the run, so it is super important that you get lucky and that he gets supered. That is going to be something that is crucial, because RNG does play a factor, especially when you're running a team like mine where I don't have the God units. So you are running at a little bit of a lower lead, you are running a little bit weaker overall. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to need a little bit of luck on where those super attacks fall. Especially in the AGL Broly phase, if you don't have items, you're going to need literally only luck, because Broly shoots like I think 1.2 million super attacks multiple times in his AGL form. So if you don't get lucky with where those super attacks lie, you're gonna have a pretty big problem. So yeah, that's obviously just something you need to be aware of. Obviously, God Goku tanks fantastically. Vegeta is fine during the tech phase. We're going to just leave him here. Hopefully, he doesn't kill Broly and he can actually tank some more attacks. It may sound weird because obviously that's asking us to take damage, but ideally you want all of Vegeta's stacks to come during this period. You need the active skill to be active at this point in time. And then, what you also want to do is after the tech phase finishes, you then want to switch on the AGL Super Saiyan Vegeta. So you want to get the AGL Super Saiyan Vegeta and switch him into the rotation. So you want to have the AGL Vegeta in the rotation, and you also possibly want to have the AGL SS4 Goku. Now the reason being is if a super attack is fired now before all of these units have fired their super attacks, then yes, we are going to of course take a lot of damage with only one Whis active. But you should be fine, especially if you have the AGL units on rotation. Their type advantage is going to help a lot. And as you can see, SS4 Goku's active skill really helps a lot as well. We've already removed the bar, and between the two of them, we could almost kill Broly in this turn. I'm not going to be using the active skill of the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, but I decided to use it here because I want to get through the strength phase with only using one item. Getting through the strength phase with only one item used and having an item left for where I'm arguably stronger in the AGL phase is going to be quite crucial. So you can see I pop that one item, I pop the active skills that I can, I get as much damage going as possible. I still let the tech units stack, even though obviously transforming them would greatly increase their damage output. I still let them stack. I'm trying to give them at least one more turn, probably transform them in the next turn if we're still facing Strength Broly, and hopefully that sets me up to obviously take out Broly. Now this works because SSJ4 Goku after his EZA hits incredibly hard, so he provides the AGL damage that I was missing before in the team I was trying to run, and he makes things work really well. So we do a very nice job here. You can see the tech units absolutely ripping through Broly from their crits. I took a 100% friend lead, and it's for this exact reason. We want to get through Broly ASAP. The sooner we get through Broly, the less chance we have of proccing his AoE super attack, and the less damage we take. And even if we do have him proc the AoE super attack, we're not in a dire situation. One nice thing here, especially, is that we managed to have all our units super. So even if Broly AoE supers now, we still have the Whis active, and a lot of them have their full damage reduction, their full defenses, they have most of their stuff going on, which is really, really good. Broly here could have finished off the strength phase in one go if he had critted or got an additional super attack, but it's okay. We gamble on it, we managed to make everything go more than fine, and generally speaking, I kept playing it safe. Obviously, the main goal is, as always, to eliminate this phase. We ideally would have liked to have kept the Dokkan attack. I don't think it was avoidable in any way, shape or form, and you know what, I'd rather sink the Dokkan attack on this turn, guarantee taking out Strength Broly, and then pushing on to the AGL phase, where I know I have an item, I know the tech guards are on my first turn up, so that leaves me in a very strong position, and it lets me retain my health to transform the Tech Gogeta. Now, Tech Gogeta is a very, very crucial element to this fight, and the reason Tech Gogeta is so crucial is because Tech Gogeta provides the ability to foresee super attacks. Now, Tech Gogeta is okay defensively, especially at 55%, he's not a Juggernaut. He's 100% not a Juggernaut of any kind. But what he is he provides great utility in the form of that ability to foresee where super attacks lie, and that's a very, very strong ability, and it helps us out a lot in this run. It is incredibly crucial to how you run in general, and you will see for the most part we obviously try to play things safe. With an item, Gogeta tanks pretty well because he has 70% damage reduction at that point, and you'll see we are definitely transforming the Goku and Vegeta. The reason we're transforming them is because obviously the big damage increase, and stacking defense isn't really going to help us when we kind of have to win in the next 3 turns. So we have this Whis active. This rotation, we're not going to take that much damage. Hopefully you get lucky, and next rotation you don't take a lot of damage. But then the rotation after, you're on your own. You're relying entirely on items, and it can be very, very stressful. So you need to do as much damage as possible. The guard units really need to go off, which is why having a 100% unit is something that's so crucial to how well this fight goes, or having a very high dupe unit is crucial to how well this fight goes. So yeah, you really, really need to make sure that you do as much damage as possible. As you can see, they are really cleaning up, which is good. And if they can get him 3 or 4 bars down between Gogeta and between Goku, we should manage to scrape another bar, and then you're looking okay. You're not doing huge damage, don't get me wrong, and if you had double god units, you'd definitely be having a lot better time. But yeah, generally speaking, you can kind of get Broly down. Remember, we also have the active skill. The active skill is going to be crucial to a huge spike in damage. It guarantees additionals for the God Boys, which is obviously, it guarantees crits for the God Boys, which is obviously very good. But it also, does quite a fair chunk of damage as well. So if ideally you can get Broly down to a certain stage, you should be fine. This Vegeta, you actually want to transform a bit earlier than this. You kind of want him to have his his crit attacks at this point. It's going to be something that helps you out the most. Obviously you can see that we're positioning our units to wherever the big sources of damage are. We can foresee the super attacks, and that's the big perk of Gogeta, the ability to foresee where the super attacks are coming. So a unit like Tech God Goku is going to take absolutely 0 damage from the super attack. Prioritize placing God Goku wherever the super attack is. You're much better off with him soaking the super attack than trying to leave it to someone else. Broly, the Int Broly, is a very decent option for soaking damage, but only after he supers. So if you're going to use Broly to soak up damage and you've got an item active, let him roll in that 3rd slot and then kind of run it from there. Don't try and run anything else. You're probably just going to end up hurting yourself or losing far too much health. So yeah, that covers pretty much everything you need to know. Now you can just watch me get incredibly lucky with crits and damage and finish off Broly. And that is basically what it amounts to. Obviously, I don't have the LRs. If you're running the LR God Boys, you'd be running all these units under a slightly higher lead. You'd have the double God Boys who would do a huge amount of damage to this Broly. If you were to drop any unit out, I'd probably would drop into SSBE Vegeta first. I wouldn't really possibly drop him. Yeah, I would probably drop SSBE Vegeta first. Just think, for the most part, you're probably going to have a bit of a better time. And yeah, generally speaking, you shouldn't have too many issues. Obviously, it provides a great backup plan. As you can see here, like if his revive is active, you have the chance to revive here. So even if Broly were to super him or to super Goku, even without an item, and we were to die, we would have a backup plan. So it is something that is obviously very, very good, and he does bring it to the table. So I don't want to disregard what he brings in the form of that revive. I do think it's very useful, but I do think having double God Boys would be far more useful, just in terms of overall performance. So yeah, obviously now we're relying on the God Boys to essentially cause havoc and eliminate Broly. So if they don't, I don't think we'd lose, but we'd need a bit of luck, because if we don't die on this turn, we'd need to make sure we'd be okay. We would be okay, I think, regardless, just because, yeah, you know, here is the super attack. It is gonna sting quite a bit, actually. Even though they are tech, like, this is how hard Broly hits. We still take 300k with a tech unit that has 400k defense against Broly. That is insane. So yeah, we still take a huge chunk of damage. We would be fine, I think, just based on the raw maths. And if Goku got a double super, the AGL Goku, we probably would be okay. Vegeta would probably get us killed. We need to rely on him for a crit, which, you know, would have been necessary, but it's not, because the God Boys pop off and they remove the final 3 bars of Broly's health, and all of a sudden we are absolutely ready to go. So there we go. That is my team build. No 7th year LRs, no Ginyu Force, no nothing. Just the power of a Pure Saiyans team and having the exact correct units. This is the team that beats Broly. If you have these units, pretty much, you'll probably beat them. If you're looking for a replacement for SSBE Vegeta, replace him with the God units. If you're looking for a replacement with Int Broly, replace him with Int Vegeta. You should see a very similar result, should see a very similar outcome. There are some slight alterations. You can ask me in the comments if you need any more assistance. But yeah, that's going to be it from me, guys. So I wish you the best of luck. Hope you can all take out Broly, and I hope you enjoyed the video. But I'll see you guys in the next one. So until then, bye.